Okay, let's get into this. City Skylines 2. This is a city I started yesterday evening. It's one of the vanilla maps, and I am using no mods. This is just everything that is included with the game. All the game assets, vanilla assets. Nothing too extravagant. So let's let's carry on. We're sitting at the Grand Village status, so we do have some stuff that's available to us now. But most importantly, I just built this row of medium density housing, so a lot of people are moving in right now, which is why we've got a bit of a traffic jam, but this should clear itself up as we move along. One of the things I'm also testing out right now is multi-streaming, so I'm streaming to both Twitch and to YouTube at the same time, and just more or less curious to see how much of a pain that is to set up, and so far it's actually pretty straightforward. So we'll just play along with this one. So I'm just going to watch my demands as far as they go. Really the only thing we have some demand for right now is a bit more industrial, which I'll probably add down in this corner here, but I'm going to try to maximize this whole space before I start expanding out in the city. So currently, yeah, it's just our medium residential demand, which is really spiking at the moment. But I just introduced city transit, so just a bus system, and it's like really basic route. So yeah, it's just kind of doing one little loop around the way, but it's, you know, kind of where people are going for the most part, and we can see that by clicking on job availability. So this is where the jobs are right now. I guess I'll have to maybe have another bus loop down in this area here, just so I can move people around. And I got a couple farms here. It's a grain farm, a vegetable, and some livestock. And the whole idea that I'm trying to do with that is this is a boost for local industry. So if I can get some of the raw materials without having to import them, this will help grow the industries and keep more of the money within the community. And also at this Grand Village level, it does introduce office, low density office, and low rent housing. Low rent housing is good if my, what do they call them? I think they're called Sims.
Hi.
It's not Sims, it's like Sims or something like that. That might be a little loud compared to my microphone, so I'll just back out a little bit. What I really like with this game is you can follow all aspects of these residents. I can see where she's going. She's going here to where she lives. Anyway, yeah, so we've got some. I'm going to throw a bit more office space in here. I can use the fill, but I think I'll just use this. Throw some of that in here, and on this corner as well. So that should fill in with, yeah, that's starting to fill in with some office. And what I'd like to do, instead of just having a big, sprawly kind of like urban landscape, what I want to do is I kind of want to do these little communities and stuff, like little blobs of built up sections. Ideally what I would do is I would have a bunch of like a bunch of little communities that are all connected in. So I'm just going to bring up my microphone levels just a little tiny bit, just so I'm comfortably in the yellow range. So hopefully that's not overdriving too much, but it might be. Yeah, it might be okay. Okay. So yeah, let's plan a little. Oh, we've got a lot of demand here for medium density housing. So that's good. So let's put in some medium density housing like down in this area here. What's good about this area is that if I look at my wind patterns, they're not going to be affected by industry. So we've got a lot of industry built up here, especially with the small coal power plant, and that's polluting, that's emitting a lot of smog and pollution, air pollution. So, and same thing with this little guy down here. So ideally, you put industry kind of in this area here, so because industry doesn't care if there's smog, but people, they do care about that. So I'm going to try to keep my residences going in this direction, kind of along this direction here, and I'm going to run my industry on this side, which makes sense because I've got all this forest down here. And what's nice about this is I can, once I expand out my city boundaries a little bit, I can then set up like logging and stuff, so that's even more resources that I'll be able to use for my industry. So let's start here. I'm going to have a medium road here that I'll use as an artery, and it's tempting to kind of throw it in there, but I think I'm actually going to keep it separate. So I'll start in here. Just expand that down as much as I can, and my goal is to run this street here as a main artery out along here, and then just keep branching off it. So just to remind myself to keep going that direction. Okay, so let's make a little neighborhood. This is going to be a medium residential neighborhood, so I'm going to have to be a little careful with planning. So what I'm going to do is, and I've done it up here, I want to make a bunch of like one-way streets, just to kind of keep the traffic flow going in one direction. I don't need to make anything really big. I'll make it nice and square. And I'll do the same thing down here. In there, so that is my next little neighborhood that I'm going to build. So let's start by zoning that in as medium density residential. So I'll just start here with this one. And already we got buildings coming in. So as these start to build in, we'll see that the demand just starts to plummet. That's not a bad thing in itself. Yeah, it's coming along okay. The other thing I have to keep in mind, this is early game, so I don't have a whole lot of money to throw around at the moment. So I'm running pretty thin here, but I am making money. So it works out to be, you know, about 2,500, 2,000 an hour. And that's game hour. So that's enough to kind of keep things going here for a while. I just have to be a little, like I said, just a little careful. So I can't plant a whole bunch of like, that won't even let me. I hope I don't have a fire because I got no way to build one yet. Same thing with police. But those ones, my basic strategy when it comes to like planting, especially in the early games, when it comes to planting civic services, is I only really put stuff down as I need to place them. So I've got a small elementary school here. We'll just kind of walk through what I've already done. So small elementary school here. And I've also got a small high school here. So I'm getting my residents educated, which is good. That'll help out with the higher paying jobs later on. I've also got a little tiny medical clinic. Now this is being well used at the moment. Also some death care as well. So people need a place to go when they're finished with the living. Oh no, there's been a traffic accident down here. Involved in an accident. Well, it doesn't look like anybody's too badly hurt. Yeah, they're still complaining about traffic backups and stuff. So one of the things I was playing with here were these little cul-de-sacs. And this is a fairly, well, this is new as of last week with the latest patch. But it looks kind of neat. You can do like these neat little neighborhoods here. So I've got a mix of like low, what do they call that? That's the low density housing, some medium density row housing, and I totally dig that look. I think that's cool. And it's kind of sandwiched on the other side with some more of this low density. And these I think are trailers. They look like trailers or mini homes or something like that. So it is early game. It's a little bit better than level 1, but that's okay. And then on this side here, obviously we've got a landfill, which is not used to maximum. Oh, look at this. I unlocked Tiny Town. So I'm on my way to greatness. So what we have here, we start to get some really interesting zoning. Some new zoning has been unlocked. So we've got the mixed use housing. So it's a mix of commercial and residential. Increased loan limit. I'm not doing loans, but if I were, I now have more that I can access. Communications. So this is a new development tree, and it also opens up my mailboxes and radio services, and I can also do a couple of these city policy stuff. So that's cool. I also have some development points here, so I can unlock different, I want to say, development kind of tree style things. So, you know, I can unlock a water treatment plant, which is not a bad idea because I just have kind of the sewage dumping into the lake or the ocean. Same thing with crematorium. I'm actually going to unlock crematorium because I will need more death care, and it takes up a lot less space than the cemetery. Recycling center, I do want to build, but it is crazy expensive, so it'll be a while before I get that one going. Same thing with college, but I am going to unlock that because that is kind of the next step in the education process. Last patch, or maybe the patch before, they actually changed the enrollment, so you need a lot fewer colleges and universities than you do with your basic education stuff like elementary schools and high schools and stuff, which is good because they're expensive. I can also unlock trains. I don't have any access to any train lines yet. I think they're all over on, yeah, they're all over here. So if I wanted trains, I will have to wait till I expand to the other side of the river. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. I mean, I could have like intercity trains, but I think my resources are better put into trams and subways and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, continue on with the tour. Like I said, a couple of farms. I've got another little industrial section happening down here because I do plan to continue expanding out in this area. And yep, here we go. These folks have just built, so we're going to start seeing people rolling in here. Now, one of the things I don't have a lot of demand on is commercial. So I actually have very few commercial buildings, and the reason for that is it doesn't really give me any. There's nothing specifically calling it out, but there just is no demand. That's okay. We'll just keep on building houses until that picks up, and it will certainly pick up. I am getting some demand for high density residential. So the only high density I can do is low rent. Again, actually pretty useful to have because it does give poorer people a place to live. So I'm going to, I don't want to add it in here just yet, but what I would like to do is I'm going to add some tenement style stuff here. And we'll see this demand's going to drop right away. But again, really important to have a mix of different residence types. The other thing there's a lot of demand for right now, too, is single dwelling homes. So I'm going to actually add some of this over here. Kind of heading towards the water. Now we can see down here, this is my current sewage outflow. So it is making my water a disgusting color of brown. So that'll be something that I'll have to change in a little while. But that's okay. One thing at a time. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this. If I want to... Actually, I might... It might be interesting. I think I'm going to leave it as it is right now. Maybe I'll add some parks in. I really like the look of this arc.
Is an emergency broadcast to all citizens.
Forest fire.
Increasing areas of forest are being engulfed by flames.
Okay, this is right out in the middle of nowhere.
Fire makes the air dangerous
No effect on me.
Citizens are advised to vacate any premises near the fires and remain at a safe distance until emergency services manage to get the fires under control.
These guys are well underway. So we can see here we've unlocked the crematorium, but can't build any just yet because it's $250,000. What I should do is I should build a firehouse before I forget, and this will make sure that nothing burns down. Let's place it right here. Okay. There's one upgrade I can do to this, which is a extension, but I think I'm okay for right now. So it just kind of gets ahead of things a little bit. I could do the same thing with police, but again, there's not really any crime. So I think I'm just going to leave it for now. And then under the education, again, it's all... I don't have enough money for it, but I do have a college that's available, and it has a student capacity of 10,000. So it's like I'll have to build one of these things, which almost cost $1 million at some point, but not yet. If I look at my education view, it's not a huge demand point at this, like at this junction. There's 114 people that are eligible, so a long ways to go. And right now we're doing good for capacity for high school and elementary, and that's really the key part here, because what it's going to do is it's going to get people into the poorly educated and educated, which would be good as the city expands and more high-tech jobs and stuff come in, and we'll actually have a labor force that can meet that demand. Okay, so still complaining about... One of the things I could do here, I'm not going to, but I could actually insert a roundabout, and that would keep traffic flowing really well. The only problem with roundabouts is it removes the traffic lights for the pedestrians. So if you have a busy intersection like this with a lot of taxis coming in, because it's people coming in from the outside connections. So if you have a lot of commercial where there's a lot of like foot traffic and stuff, if you don't have these, like right now this person here is waiting, who is Robert Weaver. Robert Weaver is waiting across the street, and they won't cross until they actually get the signal to do so. If you put in a roundabout, there's no more signals, so they're just going to cross whenever, and it in some weird ways it actually interrupts traffic worse. So still a lot of people kind of heading up and around this way. Okay, so we're doing good here. We don't have any further demand, so this is not building up as quickly as I thought it would, but that's okay, because if we add a big clump of low-density residences, and what I'm doing here is I plan to possibly expand these side streets further this way. So if they do, if I extend the street out this way and there's buildings, it'll bulldoze them automatically. So at least this way it will, I can push the street out this direction and here without destroying any other of the without destroying any residents, without it destroying any homes. because I'm a nice planner that way. I'll throw some more in here because there is a little bit of man. Actually, no, there isn't. It died. It completely died. And there's nothing stopping me from actually zoning this up now, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'll put medium density zoning here. Eventually, once we start getting demand again, I'm going to have some commercial in this area. I want to make sure it's... There we go. So it'll be a while before that comes in because there's just no demand for this stuff. In the early game, I find that you used to get a lot of industrial, office, and then for whatever reason, commercial takes a long time to really pick up. But once it picks up, it's almost like it's an undying demand. It can never surpass it. But I guess it kind of makes sense in a weird way because the commercial businesses that move in get a lot of their sort of the stuff that they sell, they get as one of the outputs from the industrial buildings. So it makes sense to kind of get to establish sort of like an industrial sector first, and then once you have stuff to sell, then you're good to go. And on that note, oops, I'm gonna continue expanding my zoning out this direction for the industrial because there is lots of demand for more industrial. And I could potentially make this whole section, like run this little road along here and do the same thing, but I'll probably just leave it like that for now. So my landfill's doing okay. They're collecting garbage slowly. Again, once this fills up, that's when I'll be ready to plop down my recycling center, and I'll actually be able to empty this out and get rid of it and reclaim this for more industrial use. But that'll be a little while from now before that happens. So our current trend of my money income is still coming up in a good way, so that is good. And there is lots of office. Interest in building up the office. So I might actually have a little office complex kind of down in this area here. Oh, I didn't want that one way. That's okay. What I can use this replace tool and make that just a regular two-way street. Now, one of the tools I like using is this grid placement tool. I'm not using it to its full advantage, but it allows you to do like this kind of stuff, which is really cool. So it improves the work, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like your workflow. So this is not going to be a huge spot, but that's okay. Because this, once I lay these guys down, this demand will disappear. I'm just kind of doing the same methodology there with sort of avoiding future renovictions. Okay. So that's in there. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place down some bus stops, but people have a way to get around. Yeah, we'll just put one down here for now. Maybe on this side here. Yeah, we should be good. So let's get a bus line running. Here and here, over to this side, down in here, and let's have it meet up here to the bus, my little bus station. I'll get it to come up here, or do I want it to come around here? Actually, I'll get it to come around here, and then back down, like so. So we should see couple buses come alive here. Yep, there's my first one. Number 2, and I think it'll assign 3 buses, but I'm not sure. One of the things I can do too, which is a cool little feature, is I can select my bus lines. Bus line 2, I'm just going to change the color so that I can better differentiate it. There, so now those buses will be green. And they'll be picking up people who are probably moving in. People are starting to move in, so that's good. Oh, and look at this. We're actually starting to get some commercial buildings popping up. So demand is there. I just have enough zoned commercial areas so that I don't see the demand poking up. And as you can see, like if I go into my zoning area, this stuff is zoned as commercial. They get a little bit of space in here that they can move into. And you can see the heat map, like these are the places where they'd absolutely like to be because this is where all the customers are. So this is actually a good place to have commercial because there will be a lot of customers in this area. I could actually put commercial around here. But I think I will add some there. So that will take some time for it to build, but this will be a very profitable area. So the buses are running. They're probably not picking up a lot of people at this point. A lot of empty buses. One of the neat stylistic things with this game is there's another game I used to play years ago on my phone. It was called like Mini Metro, and it looked exactly like this. So I don't know if they outright copied that, but they 100% were heavily influenced by that style of game. And it's very intuitive because you can see how much the bus is being used, but you can also see that there's a little bit of demand. There's actually people waiting at some of these stations, so nobody here, but we got some people waiting there. And as more people start to wait, that little icon or that circle fills in. So it's just a kind of like a high level overview of what the demand levels are. And that's one of the things I appreciate about the game, is that, and I know there's a lot of online, there's definitely a lot of online, I don't want to call it hate, but probably is the best way to describe it. Controversy, anyway. Me personally, I appreciate that this game isn't super micromanaging, if that makes any sense. I like these high-level views. I like that the simulation kind of, it does weird things sometimes, but it generally runs pretty well. And you can get in there and really customize it and stuff. There's a lot of people walking. It's a very, very healthy city. They might also just be too poor to take the bus. Yeah. Hey, there is Brett Marley. Let's follow him around for a while. So this dude is content. He's going to work. He's educated. He works at Rhino. I don't know where Rhino is. Let's go find Rhino. So it's this one here. This business is... They produce petrochemicals. So they import crude oil and they export, I don't know, gasoline, other petrochemicals. Oh, it looks like there's a... Oh yeah, it's rush hour. Because it's quitting time. One of the things I should put in, so these are all like low... How do they classify this? This is all just a 2-lane small road, and by default there's no traffic at all. It's just like a 3 or 4-way merge. But what I can do is I can actually I'm going to add in stop signs, so it forces people to play nice with each other. So it does do a good job in slowing down traffic, and you know, like, it's kind of the same thing up here. There is no lights, no nothing. So this is a really busy intersection. Let's throw some lights in there. I think all of these intersections could benefit from it. There's just so much traffic. These medium roads automatically have lights at the intersections. One of the other things you can do with the latest patch is you can actually plant trees in kind of a fun way. Let's say we wanted, what kind of tree is this? The pine tree. Let's say we wanted like a line of pine trees. You can actually plant them so that it more or less follows the road. Actually, there's a better way to do this. Yeah. You can plant them here. And the only problem with this is that it immediately removes the parking from that side of the street because it widens up the it widens the street. That's probably not a bad thing because it does make the street look a lot nicer. So like down here I've got a bunch of apple trees. And as these things, they actually do grow as time goes on, so it'll actually turn into a nice canopied main thoroughfare here. I think that's really cool. Okay. Yeah, so there's lots of traffic in here at the moment. Traffic jam, traffic jam, traffic jam. So this is one of these examples where this to me looks like it's an arterial road. But right now it's just a small street. So what I should be doing here is I should be expanding this street out so that it'll handle more traffic. So let's do that. Let's just make this a 4-lane road. And I'll use my replace tool because I don't need to bulldoze everything. Now, if you have service buildings, you do have to delete stuff. Like if I wanted, because this is wider, I've got the option to kind of expand it on this side of the road or that side of the road. But the problem with this side of the road is that I've got a couple of these. I got the firehouse, I got a bus depot, I got a small high school, and I got the cemetery. So I don't want to have to like move all these things around just for the sake of expanding the road onto this side, so I'll just expand the road on the other side. Consequence of this, I'll have to move this guy, my transformer station. I don't know where I want to go. I'll put it here. No, I don't want to put it there. Actually, maybe I'll just put it on this side here. Yep, that's good. And I'll just make sure to reconnect. Let's go, let's bury this. Yep. Okay, that's connected. Where was I? Oh yeah, expanding roads. So let's just make these nice and wide. So I kind of pre-planned this to be, well, I'm almost pre-planned it to be a sort of an arterial, but obviously I forgot about these ones here. So this is going to bulldoze a bunch of little houses. Oh well. They'll come back eventually because they're still zoned. Yep, they're still zoned for low density. So now we've increased the traffic flows here by quite a bit. There's one more thing that we could do with this, depending on what the traffic's doing, is we can actually use, maybe it's not unlocked yet, but we can make asymmetric roads. So basically it gives like 3 lanes on one side and 1 lane on the other. Starting to get a lot of ambulance calls. Ooh, the small elementary school is at capacity, so I do have enough money to add on an extension, so I'm going to do that. There's the first extension that gives me 100 extra student spaces.
Program to bring you a special news bulletin.
A tornado.
A tornado is approaching the city and will be visible soon.
There's our tornado.
Immediate cover.
Doesn't look like it's going to be a factor for us, which is good. I've got bigger things to worry about, like my small medical clinic is at capacity. So there's no extra space and there's a lot more demand. So, yeah, we can kind of see it here. So I could build a medical clinic, and it does accept a lot more patients. And it's expandable. The small medical clinic does not do a whole lot for me at the moment. The only problem is that it's only 60,000, only 60,000. So it is gonna affect my budget. But if we throw it onto here, you can see how much more range it has. Maybe I'll even put it down here, but if I have it on this street here, this will at least give it access to a couple of my arterial streets. Okay, so this should increase once it comes online. Yeah, so now I have a lot more capacity. So right away we're going to see these ambulances are going to start going out and collecting patients. There it goes. Alright, so this is good. Still have some there's a lot of demand here for some high density residential, so I'll just keep on adding it on this side. One of the things I like doing as well is creating little paths for pedestrians. This will give just a little path for residents living here. Instead of having to walk all the way over here and then around, they can just kind of do a little shortcut. It'll take a little while for for people to start walking on it, but I did this exact same thing over here, and there's tons of people walking their dogs. That is Lily. She's out walking her dog. And I guess it looks like they live in this house over here. So that's cool. Still tons and tons of traffic of people coming in, but that's good because it means my population is going up by 200 people an hour. So there's not a lot of entertainment, unreliable mail service, traffic. It's, there's not a lot of... It's not a great place to live at the moment. So it did mention something about mail. Would like to build a post office. But in the meantime, I could build a small post office. Basically deliver packages and stuff like that. Alright, so I'm going to start by putting down some mailboxes. For when they actually have... Yeah, people like that. People want their mail. Don't have to make them walk too far for it either. Throw some over here in my industrial area. I do find the mail service has not been one of those things that this game has had a lot of love with so far in its development, but okay, so I got some mailboxes ready to go. Once I have my... Look at this. Why am I making so much money at once? What's going on here? Bringing in a lot of taxes, some services. Yeah, it's not too bad. Am I actually making money on stuff? Not at the moment. That's okay. Production is good though. Obviously with my coal power plants, it is using... I have to import a lot of coal for that, so... Eventually I'll be able to build a coal mine and stuff if I want to. Same thing with lumber, but this is a good... I like our surpluses here. This is good. That means there's lots of capacity in the system with just these 3 little farms here. There's still lots of demand to build more industrial though. Which I could expand out. Let me see here. In theory, and I'm just going to use the fill tool for this so I can quickly go through it, but these will just make small little sheds and warehouses and stuff just based on the size. There might actually be a little factory that shows up there, but why not? If there's demand, why not take advantage of it? I might be able to expand this street out as well, but kind of okay. We got lots of room for more residences here. So we're doing okay as far as that goes. Alright, I'm liking how this is coming along. Let's do a quick review of where things are. So I'm looking here. I do need some more parking. I only have 1 parking lot. My roads are kind of getting in bad condition too. I don't think... Have I got... I could build a road maintenance depot, and that's probably not a bad idea. Because these roads, especially along here where there's a lot of traffic. And can you actually see the roads falling apart here? Yeah, you can actually see it in the headlights here. So the road's looking rough. And compare that to somewhere where it's actually a fairly new road or untraveled road. Yeah, you're not seeing a lot of those cracks in there. Even on this side here. No, it's still pretty good. So that's what the road maintenance does. So those guys are important. We're going to maintain these roads. So let's throw a road maintenance depot down. I think I can afford it. Question is, where do I want to put it? I could put it up here. I don't like how... I don't like how it snaps on here, so it kind of sticks out like a bit of a sore thumb. Could put it here and delete that. Maybe I'll just throw it here. That'll be good enough. Okay, no more money. Since I'm not going to use that space, let's throw... Yeah, we'll just leave that as... These, my maintenance folk, should start going out and maintain these roads. Oh, there's actually a snowplow. That's cool. I don't think I've played a map yet that actually has snow on it, so that might be something fun to try one of these evenings. Oh no, that's coming right along. Okay, so these guys will be deployed out and they're going to start maintaining these roads. I don't know if I can get in here and really see... Yeah, I can't tell. I can't quite tell the difference here. It'd be a little bit easier if it was daylight, but... Oh, it's... There's a fire somewhere. There's the fire. Oh, yes. The fire is... I guess there was a crash. Oh, yeah, there's a crash over here. Cool. Alright, well, he's off then. Ambulances are working pretty hard. Yeah, there goes some hearses. Collecting some remains. The recently deceased. Alright, we got more office space coming in here. I like the detail on some of these buildings too. So this is, what do these guys do? They make financial, it's a bank.
This is an emergency broadcast to all citizens.
Tornado.
Radar readings indicate a tornado
Oh
is
yeah,
approaching the
there's
city
our tornado.
and will be visible soon. Citizens should seek immediate cover.
Lots of accidents on this highway though, holy cow. Alright, so that is not a factor for me at this point. That's too far away. Seems to be a lot of tornadoes though, I will say. The neat thing about tornadoes is that you can, once you expand your city up far enough, or I think you unlock, there's one of these things you can unlock here. It is emergency shelters. So if there is actually a natural disaster, your citizens will flee their homes and for safety into these big bunkers. And really the only thing that triggers that is tornadoes at this point. That's the only natural disaster that I've seen on any kind of regular basis. Okay, so just to recap, we're increasing our money by quite a bit, which is good. Yeah, we're growing our tax base. We got some service fees. And then we got some service trade, so that's basically the power. So I'm getting, it's not a huge amount. And that's just kind of the breakdown of the individual costs. And I mean, you can adjust stuff around. I tend just to leave all my budgets the way they are. As you can see, I don't have any police in this city yet, so I'm not paying any money for that. But I can definitely afford it. I can't afford, well, I can't afford the capital expense yet. I don't have enough money. But once I do, the upkeep is pretty reasonable. It's only 15 for the smallest one. It's only 15 grand per month, and I am making almost 8,000 per hour. So we are good as far as that goes. Alright. So we got lots of empty space here. I do want to fill it in with some more stuff. But honestly, the man's kind of doing what it's doing. I could speed up the simulation a little bit. Just so we see how this stuff, how our demands and stuff kind of change in real time. Let's take a look at what the police is doing here. So, right now there's only one crime per month. It's not an emergency. I'm not too worried about that. Education's looking like it needs a little bit of work here, so I do need to up my elementary school capacity. More people are moving in, they're having kids, and we should educate them. So I can upgrade this for a while. The only problem is I'm going to eventually run out of space, but also like it's just no longer efficient to keep adding on sort of the portables here. The small high school, well, I can add an extension wing. That's cool. I'll have to wait till I have a little bit more money before I do it. But we're not at max yet. This one here, so the next school that I will probably just start switching to, it costs more than $100,000 more than my cheapest one, but it's got way more capacity. So instead of 400 capacity with 100 extension wings or 100 students per extension wing, The city elementary school has 1,500, and you can expand it once. So I think it expands up to 2,000 per. My other larger cities, I can't put down enough elementary schools. Like there's just way more demand than what you'd expect. So right now, there's more demand than supply, but it's actually not too bad, relatively speaking. Because you can see this is your capacity, this is what your enrollment. These are kind of the important numbers. There are more people eligible. There are more kids eligible than I have capacity for, but I'm not quite at my capacity yet. But I'm sure that will change in very short order. So this is good. People are starting to use this little pathway here.
Oh.
Stacy Harper. She's homeless and unwell. So that's a bit of a problem. Where is she going to live? Is she homeless? I mean, she's going here. I assume that's her home. Unhappy, sad, unwell. Their well-being is extremely, extremely low. So they're going home to their homeless. Yeah, how that exactly works. But they have a job. They're educated. Yeah, I don't know why she's homeless. All right, well let's add her to the follow list. So people are dying more than usual. This is citizen age. Yep. So I got a lot of old people. Yeah, kind of middle-aged, I guess. There's not a lot of young people in this building, and you kind of see where our population densities are. That's fine. So yeah, mostly adults. Not having a lot of kids. Not a lot of children's. So our death rate and our birth rate are, well, my death rate's expanded. This reminds me of the east coast of Canada, where I'm from. Traditionally has always been a higher death rate than a birth rate. I think that's changed around a little bit since the pandemic, but I think that's more of a migration from other provinces as people are retiring as opposed to, people having kids. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. I think at some point I'm gonna have to expand this street out a little bit because there's so much. It's such a choke point here, and I think that is definitely one of my criticisms with criticism. This is one of the challenges with this particular map is that you really have a bottleneck that's built in. So the only way to kind of deal with that is to keep expanding out and build in other modes of transportation and, that kind of stuff. Which, I will get to eventually. But yeah, here we go. So my demand is really kind of like... Yeah, it's basically because, okay, so it doesn't seem like there's a lot of growth and demand, but it's because there's so many unoccupied buildings. So there's been a glut of things built and not enough people to fill them. But it is increasing. We are still going up, which is good. We're still making money, which is also good. So what I think I'll do is I'll just speed up the simulation. It's starting to get day... Oh no, it's not daylight, it's just the northern lights. It looks a little lighter. Yeah, so along this street here where we used to have all those traffic jams, that is all gone for the moment. The traffic is moving pretty smoothly. I think I'm going to try to build another parking lot if I've got the money for it. I don't have the money for everything, but I can throw something in. Let's throw in a medium parking lot right on this corner. This is a good spot because there's a lot of density here. So people use it right away. So we'll see people, cars starting to drive in. Yep, we've already got... with this particular tool, this is really neat. It's a traffic route, so it shows me where people are coming from. They're coming from all over, so we'll see shortly here a bunch of people driving in and parking and going home. So they don't have to circle around looking for parking on the streets. The service fleet are working overtime. My snowplows have disappeared. I wonder where they've gone to. Maybe the city sold them off because there's no snow here. That would be a smart budgetary move. Okay, so we're getting lots and lots of these medium density residentials, and finally we've got commercial demand, and it's all local demand. So if I want to find a place to plop down some more commercial zoning, all you have to do is look for basically like the green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build some up in here and then along here. And then I'll throw some here, here, and here. This will give people a reason to drive out this way. And what it's good too, one of the other unintended consequences of this is it actually helps diversify where the jobs are. So if I look at workplace availability, it is mostly centered in this area here, so it does force people to commute around and stuff, but as I build out these commercial zones, it will make it so that if somebody doesn't want to have to go out as far, they won't have to. I made this little bridge so that people wouldn't have to like walk down here and over, and nobody's using it. But it looks kind of cool. It's like a little gateway for people driving in. Oh my goodness, there's so much traffic. There's so much traffic. I mean, it might be worth expanding this out, but I mean, it definitely will be at some point. I'll have to move some of these buildings around a little tiny bit, but we'll get there. This is kind of neat. In the fall, the trees are changing color. Ah, that's cool. Yeah, they're slightly more brown or yellowy fall colors than what we had originally. Little taxi depot. We do have some good office demand, so I'll throw some more office space down on this stretch down here. I think that's a good use for it. Lots of industrial demand, but I'm holding off on that until I actually build out more in this direction. I think I'll do probably 3 tiles here, and then really expand out my industrial out this direction. Have a little wood lot or a couple wood lots here to take advantage of this. That'll increase our trade. It'll attract industry that uses lumber as a raw material. A lot of spin-off effects. And again, the motivation for keeping industrial on this side is just based on how the winds are pushing all this air pollution this direction and away from my residential zones. That's the only reason. Do I have any special buildings? I have not. I've unlocked one, the Polaris Suites, which is this building right here, which is full. There's 180 households. We're following two people. Brett, let's see what Brett's up to. Oh, he's on a bus. Brett is on the bus. He's content. He's okay. He's doing alright. He's got a modest income, a modest amount of wealth. Educated, he's employed. Lives on Birdsong Street, which is right here. Let's put himself a little abode here. Neat. So we can follow him as he carries on here. Let's just watch him. Let's see what happens. Commuting home at 3 in the morning because that's a terrible shift. My God. His bus is going to pull in here. Let's see if he gets off on his bus or if he stays on it. He might walk from here because I don't think he lives that far away. And yeah, that's right. So he's gotten off the bus. Brett is on his way home. Grand old time. Alright, that's cool. How's our other person doing? Stacy. Last time we saw her, she was sad. Oh, she's right in this area too. Oh, she's moving away. She's given up. Yeah. Unemployed, poor, has an education, is looking for work elsewhere. Excuse me. Don't know if that mute worked or not. I don't know. I think it did. Stacey's moving away. And she's gone. Stacy's gone. He's gonna have it going on somewhere else. So that's good. That's actually one of the things that, one of the major bugs that developers recently fixed was the homeless would get stuck in this weird loop where they would just kind of like mill about, and it had a bunch of like, just based on like the dev notes and stuff like that, it really had a bad effect on the demands, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that it played havoc with. And there were actually a couple mods that dealt with that. They forced people who were classified as homeless to like leave, and now that's no longer required because it is something they actually fixed. So if you open up an old city that had that like pre bug, you open it up, and I've seen this on YouTube in a couple places, but if you open that up and give it some time, you'll actually see a lot of the homeless population just move out on their own. So it is a thing that has been fixed. I am making 10 grand an hour. So we are growing at a reasonable pace. Still pretty steady with our population increase too, which is fine. That's manageable. I don't mind that. And we're starting to creep up again on the low rent housing. So what's good about these ones here, right, is that even though it's low rent, it means the average wealth it's poor. But it's better than being over here and being wretched. Because what happens is, if you live in this big house, these two, the Keaton family, Nigel and Royden, are sinking all of their money into the rent, which means there's not a lot of extra money for going out shopping. So that's a negative thing when it comes to the commercial zone and stuff, right? So again, it's, even though these folks are poor, they're actually in better shape to support the economy than these people here living in their big houses. You know, like everybody living in this building here, they would call it like a modest one. So it's, people are neutral. There's a lot of things that are still affecting. So there's not a lot of entertainment. Entertainment, by the way, comes in shape of parks and other recreation. So I can actually start building out some of these dog parks. They're not super expensive. And they give something for people to do. So you can walk your dog. Let's build a little small park in here, maybe. I'll build one on this side here just to make it kind of symmetrical. So now these folks have something to do. There's also these little tiny parklets, which are super useful. I'm starting to run out of money, but that's okay. Get a little mini park. Well, I want to make it so that I don't actually tear down either of these buildings, so I don't know why it's snapping there. Snap to the side of a road. Oh, I can. Okay. It's good to know. I actually learned something. I got a mini park, an urban parkette. So let's turn off snapping and see if I can squeeze it between these two buildings. Yep, I got it. Just, oops, some place for people to go. So hopefully that will. Oh, I can put down a nice little parkette here too. Let's put down. I got a little playground, small plaza, small playground. Snapping back on. Yep, it's the wrong button. Now we should be starting to see my entertainment is now, instead of being a -4, it's actually a +4. So the next thing I need to do is deal with my mail service. So in order to do that, I could put down, I can't put down anything, but the first thing I could put down is a small post office. But I think I'm going to go right to a regular post office. Because it'll give me 20 post vans as opposed to 4. And like, it's pretty big delta in cost, but it's, you know, if I have to put down 5 of these, in the long run, I'm better off putting down a post office. That said, it does give an economic, I can put one of these down sooner than I can put down a post office with my current cash flow situation. This won't last long, so like maybe I will put down a small one just to kind of get it going, but at the same time too, I'm kind of torn because it does make sense just to wait a little bit longer till I have the money and I can put down a regular sized post office. So we're getting quite a bit of traffic on this street here. I would imagine it's people moving in. Still more of these buildings to come up, so What I may do too is I might actually put down a couple of, well, nah, it'll be fine. Could turn this into low density housing. Goes. So I'd add a little bit more space there. I'm gonna add some more office space. What I'm gonna do, straight line here. I'm gonna go up this way. And then I'm gonna make it a little roundabout at the very end. Just to give it a little bit of visual diversity. I don't know if they'd actually... I don't know if an office will build on that small of a space or not. Works really good for... I don't know why I keep on hitting my Windows key. Works really good for residential buildings. We'll wait for it to happen. If it happens. But yeah, oh yeah, no, they'll build on it. I wonder what office will go in there. A bank and a tachomat. Electronics. Woof. Alright, sunrise has happened apparently. It is 6 in the morning. Seems like a bit of, like, it feels, it's weird, right? Because like I normally, when I build this out, I just keep on like keep building out. There's not a lot of free space and stuff, but I kind of want some of this empty space to make it just look more visually interesting. But I feel like at the same time too, I also feel like it's like it's wasted space almost. Because like I'm really fighting the urge to like build this up this direction. Why is that struggling so hard to... Yeah, there we go. And like I could build it up this way to like this point, but I mean, I probably should. Fighting a little bit of the curve here. Yeah, I thought I left enough space, but I think the way that this is curving, it's just not working out very well. Maybe we can do it that way. Not pretty, but that's okay. Yeah, no regrets. Yeah, you know what? I'll put a little blob of something in here just to give it a little bit more of a cohesive neighborhood look, but and I do need some... There's a lot of demand for housing at the moment. Just like real life. So I'm not going to make this really big. I'm just going to go up here. I'll do the same thing on this side. Following my guidelines nicely. Okay, so I've got this little blop in here, so let's make that all residential. What I should do is I should put in a parking lot in this area here while I'm at it. Yeah, everybody likes that. Stars all around. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm actually going to line this with trees just to make it look nicer. Actually, let's keep my apple tree going here. Where's my apple tree? Those aren't apple trees. Linden, hickory, pine, spruce. birch, oak, apple tree. Okay. So as soon as I do that, it makes the sidewalks wider. And it forces the parking to go elsewhere. Yeah, forces it. It was kind of neat. It actually forced it off that road into the... Alright. So what's good about that is that one, it looks really cool with the trees. Like, I think that's a really cool look. But it also takes away that visual clutter of all the cars parking along the side. One of the things I can also do too, with the new assets, is they do have this angled parking road, so I could kind of do that along this street here just to make it look. Should I do it on one side or? Yes, that's the alley. 2-lane divided angle. 2-lane perpendicular. Yeah, that makes it really wide. I don't want that. Okay, let's go angled. And I'm just going to expand it out on this side here. So what I'm anticipating is that people coming to visit these businesses here will park back here and kind of walk over to those commercial zones. And I'll throw some commercial. Yeah, I'll throw some commercial in there. Same thing on this side. Not that I have any commercial. There's a bus. It's got 24 people on it, so it's actually getting some use on it. You can actually monitor that a little closer here. That's not a crazy amount of usage. 20%, 15%, but it's moving people. It's giving an alternative. Okay, so residential buildings are coming in there. Still so much traffic coming down through here. Here we go. Boomtown. Not a huge difference here. We've got a couple of ordinances that we can unlock for neighborhoods and stuff. And the loan limit is increased. So no major categories unlocked. Although all my categories are unlocked anyway. Since the last one. Okay, we got a crime scene here. I think it's time to build a police station. So for $100,000, let's put a police station in classic SimCity form. This takes me back. I'll put it right beside my firehouse. The medical clinic for some reason didn't like it, but that does not bother me much. And they're off. Some top-notch driving, buddy. Stuck in traffic. Yeah, we got a lot of traffic down here. A lot of traffic up in here. Schools are really maxing out. I'm gonna do one more. Uh-oh. What's the problem here? No pedestrian access. How do we get pedestrian access? Do I have to move it? I hate moving stuff. Oh, it's going to be touching the school. That's why. If I do that, I'm going to be breaking stuff down. So I'm just going to trash it. Gonna trash it, and I think it's time to build an actual school. Do I have the money for it? I don't think I do. I will shortly, though. Okay, so once this hits 150, then I will put a school in, and it should hit it in no time because I'm making 15 grand an hour. So I'm just gonna speed this up just so it actually hits it. So one of the issues with designing a city this way is that this creates really big bottlenecks for my traffic. So from a traffic planning point of view, this is a terrible way to build cities. And we're starting to have problems getting actual services to over to this side of the city because my traffic is stuck here. One of the ways I can get around that, of course, is I can continue building. I might just do this actually. Is if I extend my arterial road this way. What I can do is I can actually connect them up here. And that will give people another route to the main drag. So we'll start to see traffic going around there. There we go. That will clear up in short order. Yeah, we're starting to get traffic moving through here now, which is really good. So it just gives like a little bit of an alternate route. Okay, I said once I hit 150 that I am going to replace the small elementary school with a larger school, and I am almost there. So I want a city elementary school. I could put a regular elementary school, but I get way more capacity with this one here. Okay. Let's just pause this for a moment. I'm gonna delete that one. This is gonna need everybody who's going to school there. These are all the kids that were attending. Now, let's build. Can I build this without disrupting too much? Yes, I can. I'm gonna put that right here. Everybody's gonna go walk back to this school, or are they gonna go home? Done. There we go. People are starting to file back in. But that's kind of what we want. Yeah, it's all the students who kicked out of their other school. Woo! Alexander Robbins going home. They go to the city elementary school. I can change the names of these. Avoto Elementary School. How about that? Occupation student. And yep, they go to this guy. So I don't think I'll change. I'll probably change the name of something else. Actually, what I can do is I can create little districts. So why don't I do that now? Let's create this district. I can adjust the nodes later. A nice square district. Briar Rose Downs. Okay. I'm just going to expand that all the way up here so that everybody in this neighborhood is included. And we'll make it, there it is. $180 degrees, use my snapping tools. This guy up. Yeah. There we go. There's one neighborhood. Do another neighborhood. Snapping to roads. No, I don't care about that. I want you to snap to the geometry. There you go. That's close enough. Then I'll have another one down in this area. No, this I do want to snap to the road. Spring Acres. Fun little names. Actually, I'll make that little business section, or that office section, its own little neighborhood. I'll bring that to here. No, I'll actually bring the other one down. Evergreen Heights. Let's do another one here for this little district, the little office space district. Sterling Meadows. Incredible. I'm just going to expand these guys down. Good enough. The whole thing that got me thinking about this was like, I don't need that to say that. I just need to say, we'll call it the Briar Rose Elementary School. There. I don't need a vanity product or a vanity school named after me. That's just silly. One of the things I can do too is I can actually, I'm just going to create little connector roads here. Just so that people have little alternative ways to get around town and stuff. Yeah, so lots of people using parking in through here. A lot of use in this parking lot yet, but that's okay. Still early in the day. And my elementary school is working just fine. I do have the money now. I can upgrade. Yeah, so I can add additional 500 students for $1,000 a month. Which is likely what's going to happen here. I can't add an extension wing here, but I'll do the same thing that I did with the elementary school. I will actually put a city high school in there, and what's good about that is it increases my capacity from 400 to 800, but it costs so much more. Ugh. Actually, it doesn't. It almost makes more sense to throw down another one of these things somewhere. I'll bring my capacity way up. Oh, this is an elementary school. I'm a dum dum. Not what I wanted. Oh yeah, nobody liked that one. Lots of capacity though. Okay, well let's compare apples to oranges here. So it's literally just more efficient use of space. So a small high school costs 150, a city high school costs 300, and a regular high school costs 300. So I might as well just go with the city high school because I get double the capacity for the same amount of space. But I have to wait until I have $300,000. So it'll be a little while. The good news is, the only thing that's really bothering people right now is the non-existent mail service. And again, if I really wanted to, I could take out a loan. I could take out a loan at this interest rate. That's how much it would cost. Yeah, the more money you borrow, the worse the interest rates are. So if you want to borrow 1.6, it's 20% interest. And that's, I want to say that is probably per month, but anyway, I'm not going to take any of that. I've got a little thing called time. Okay. Well, seeing as how it's getting kind of late tonight and I have to go to work tomorrow, I think I'm going to pause the stream at this point. We're well on our way. Our little town of Cedarburg, out on this nice little peninsula. Tomorrow, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this part of the city and continue building up my industrial, just so I've got something to do with that, keeping up with the proper demands and stuff. This area here will fill in quite nicely because as population is going up, there's lots of space here for little buildings and stuff. Just zooming into the park. I don't see any homeless in here, so that's cool. I will have to build a park maintenance facility so that these things can be maintained properly. But I do have priorities. So number one priority is going to be build a new high school. Ooh, there's a fire. Let's go take a look at this. Get some excitement. We got a fire and it's spreading. Oh yeah, here comes the fire truck. I think it's going to get here in time. Oh, what a fire, too. Holy cow. There it is. Done. These buildings are actually looking pretty cool as far as, like, I absolutely am blown away by how close into the detail you can get. This guy's happy. Stacy's feeling pretty good, I think. Going to work. Leighton Piper is poorly educated, but seems to be happy. Well, he's a student. Going home. Anyway, like I was saying, continue building this up. Hopefully crime doesn't take off, but that'll be fine. That'll be totally fine. I think we get a good start. So yeah, high school, post office, maybe post office first. Then we'll see about clearing up some of the sewage outlets. My water is... I have enough capacity for now, but kind of approaching a limit here. So my electricity... What's my electricity doing? Gonna have to build another plant or something soon. I might switch to wind power, especially along this ridge. There's a lot more space in here. Or I'll just build another. Oh, I could build an incinerator. So that will take care of the garbage and also generate some electricity. It also generates a ton of pollution. So yeah, we'll see. We got some decisions here we'll have to make. But yeah, it's looking good. I'm happy with this. Okay, so I am gonna call it a stream at this point. Yeah. I'll try to resume this, maybe not tomorrow, maybe come back on Thursday, but you know, I think this was good. I've been streaming on YouTube directly. I've also been streaming on Twitch. Everything seems to be working really well, actually. So yeah, I'll keep doing this. Okay, thanks for joining. Until next time. Yeah. Take care.